Are we on? Hello? Hello? We there? Hello? Hey, there we are. Hey everybody, welcome back to an episode. Wow, it's been so long. I can't even say the intro. Here we are, back again. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Thirdcoastreptiel right here on YouTube. Hey, we're here for another episode. I'm going to be talking about a tortoise that is so cool that I cannot believe I haven't done a full episode about yet. If I didn't have so many redfoot tortoises in my house, I would have these in my house. And guys, you should have them in your house too. I'm so excited to talk about them. Oh, and don't forget, we're going to be doing that under the show segment where I answer one of your questions right here on Thirdcoastreptiel. I think that went pretty good. Yeah, good intro. Alright guys, so it's been a long time since I've been in front of the camera. I've dealt with some illnesses, I've dealt with a lot of injuries. Long story short, the redfoot pond it's not happening this year. Wanted to really get that done this year, but it just, rocks are heavy. Rocks are heavy, guys. And then when you rip a pond liner, you have to redo everything, and rocks are even heavier. So, I couldn't get it done in time for this season. It's a bummer, but next season we'll get it done. My dog's going to go check out the windowsill there. But, you know, next year we'll get that done. In the meantime, I do have some things in the works coming up for you guys. I have the Tinley Park, Illinois, the Tinley Park Reptile Expo. I will be there this October. Count on it. Thirdcoastreptiel will be at Tinley Park. Also, I'll be doing an interview with Sweet Exotics. They're from Allegan as well, where I come from. It's pretty cool to see local YouTubers that are close by. They have a storefront, but they also have something that I don't have and that I want to sort of expand for you guys and give you more than just tortoises. They are snake experts. So I'm going to put them in front of the camera with me, and we're going to kind of go over everything you really need to know about beginner snakes and expectations and all that stuff. But today, right here, right now, we're going to be talking about an exciting tortoise that I cannot believe I haven't made a full video about yet. A tortoise that is just as underrated as the Russian tortoise, who I feel is the most underrated tortoise in the tortoise hobby. But today we're going to be talking about the elongated tortoise. They're hardy. They're relatively manageable size for both indoors and outdoors. They have a variety in their diet. They're easy to take care of, and they're readily available, which really puts them on the Thirdcoastreptiel realm. I should have one of these tortoises at my house, but again, I have too many redfoot tortoises to facilitate having another tortoise in this size range. We're going to get to how big they get here in just a minute, but they have a unique personality, probably even better than the redfoots when it comes to personality, and that's hard to do because redfoots have just this colorful, you know that they're excited to see you, you know that they're ready to eat, you know that they're ready to come right up to you, and elongated tortoises are that and a little bit more. So why elongated tortoises now? Why am I doing a video about them right now? Well, they are not really common, at least not in YouTube realm. I know Camp Cannon has a few at his place, and I don't know, I never thought about it until I started to think about it, and then I deep dived into it. I'm like, this is incredible. These guys are awesome. They do have one flaw, and we'll get to that here in a little bit. But first, let's get some background information about the elongated Elongated tortoises are one of the more hardy tortoises. They get their name from their shell because they're, well, elongated. These tortoises come from parts of Asia. We're talking India, Nepal, Thailand, Vietnam, like Malaysia, southern China. Although they're not as common as they used to be, and this is partly because of the pet trade and unfortunately food trade. Oftentimes you'll catch these guys in the food market as opposed to being out in the wild where they ought to be, because you know, food's kind of scarce over there and they have to do what they got to do. It's the reality of the facts. So yeah, you won't really find them that well in the wild. However, in captivity, they're doing quite well. It is not that hard to find an elongated tortoise on like Morph Market for around, well, under $200. I found quite a few hatchlings that were captive bred. So, you know, as always, buy captive bred. You can usually find these tortoises in damp, upland, dry forest areas underneath leaf litter. So in captivity, it's a good idea to kind of mimic this and create your own kind of leaf litter area and kind of have it damp so they can crawl underneath there and feel secure and comfortable underneath the leaves and stuff. They feel sort of protected in that way. They are a mid-sized tortoise. They can get anywhere from 12 to 14 inches in length. Females being the larger of the two sexes, though, getting around that 14-inch mark. Elongated tortoises have a lifespan of around 40 years plus, so they are a big long-term commitment. In captivity, elongated tortoises can be a great indoor pet as well as an outdoor pet. This is due to their size and how hardy they are. They can do very well in a 4x8 enclosure. Remember, it's the footprint of the enclosure rather than the height, because they're not an arboreal species. They're a tortoise. They live on the ground. Now, when it comes to their humidity, as I mentioned, they need anywhere between 60 to 80% humidity. This is the one thing that can be tricky about these tortoises, is maintaining this humidity. So I would rule out any open top enclosure ideas that you may have. These guys are going to require a completely enclosed enclosure like the one behind me here to get that proper humidity. Now this enclosure behind me is currently housing an Egyptian tortoise. This is a toad ranch enclosure, and I love their enclosures. No, I'm not a sponsor, or I'm not sponsored by them rather, but if you take a look, I'm going to try to do this as gently as possible here. I have this enclosure here. This is a 6-foot long enclosure, or 8-foot long. This one's 8 foot long. And then this one here, this is a 12-foot long enclosure. And I'm going to try to do this. Another toad ranch enclosure there. And then finally, this is a 6-foot enclosure here. And that is my radiated tortoise enclosure. At least it's temporary nursing enclosure, because it's going to need a bigger enclosure later on. You're going to want an enclosed enclosure like this. You can make a greenhouse top for an open enclosure. There's many things you can do to kind of cover it to keep that high humidity requirement of 60 to 80%. Now when it comes to their temperature, the ambient temperature, that temperature generally in the enclosure, should be anywhere between 70 to 75 degrees. Now when it comes to their basking temperatures, that should be around 90 to 95 degrees right underneath that basking bulb. They like hot weather. Remember, they are from Southern Asia, which is near the equator. And don't forget about the UVB requirements for these guys. They are going to need, in a 4x8 enclosure that I mentioned earlier, they're going to need 1 to 2 4-foot long T5 10.0 UVB bulbs. Those are those long T5 bulbs that you can get at any pet store or online. When it comes to substrate, or the ground that they're going to be on, they're going to need a dry side as well as that hot, humid side. So, the substrate should be a mixture of coco coir fiber, sand, and topsoil all blended together. And then I would go ahead and soak the topsoil regularly to ensure you get that nice, moist, hot and humid area on one side, and leave sort of that coco coir sandy area on the other side as more of a drier option to allow your elongated tortoise to choose between the gradient of temperatures and humidity to kind of say, yeah, I want to be a little bit drier today or more humid. Let them decide by having options inside their enclosure. Oh, and don't forget the leaf litter that I was talking about earlier. So you want to put leaf litter throughout the enclosure. Alright, when it comes to elongated tortoise diet, they like dark leafy greens like the one shown here. In captivity though, spring mix is the good stuff to get. Any big box store has this. Don't forget your calcium with vitamin D. Also, Missouri Diet is a good additive that you want to get, the LS kind here. And a unique feature of the elongated tortoise is they need proteins. So you can add eggshells like this. And that concludes the tortoise elongated diet. When it comes to breeding elongated tortoises, they do have a breeding season in the wild, which is in late autumn. However, in captivity, it is year-round. After about 1 month to 6 weeks later, after successful breeding occurs, the female will start digging test nests as they are very picky on where they lay their egg. Females will typically lay anywhere between 3 to 5 eggs per clutch, and they lay typically 3 to 4 clutches per calendar year. It takes roughly 110 days for the clutch to hatch. Alright guys, so like I said, with the sort of success that we have with the breeding programs, elongated tortoises are readily available in captivity. These are probably one of the most underrated tortoises there are out there, besides like the Russian tortoise. And with their great personalities, guys, they're very bold when it comes to their personality, and they'll come right up to you. They're not shy. They know when they're going to get fed. They're an interesting part to have. They're an interesting tortoise to have in addition to your group that you have at home, for any reptile breeder or keeper for that matter. If you're a first-time reptile owner, the elongated tortoise is an excellent addition to your collection, and maybe the first tortoise that you ever buy. So get yourself an elongated tortoise, because I said so. They're great tortoises to have in your home. They're medium size, makes them ideal for indoors and outdoors. And again, that personality is just like a redfoot tortoise. So, if I didn't have so many redfoot tortoises, I'd probably have a few elongated tortoises here at the house. Alright guys, with that being said, it's time to do an Under the Shell segment where I answer one of your questions right here on Third Coast Reptile. Got questions? Well, get your answer right here on Under the Shell. Alright guys, today's Under the Shell question comes from Benjamin's 99. Benjamin's 99 asks I love these questions. He says, hey Third Coast Reptile, if you had a chance to own any tortoise, what would it be? Really? If I had a chance to own any tortoise, what would it be? If it was... Now, I want to expand on this a little bit. Are we talking like win the lottery type thing where money isn't an option or money isn't an issue or a burden at the time of purchase and after? Or is it just like the catalog is open to you to buy a tortoise, bring it home, and you're done? Because it has many different answers. Let me explain. Hold on. So, if I had the opportunity to buy a tortoise, any tortoise that I wanted to buy, and money isn't an issue, whether it's purchasing the animal or being able to take care of it, proper facilities, etc. Aldabra tortoise. I would buy an Aldabra tortoise. Reason being, we captive breed them pretty well, so I don't have to worry about taking one out of the wild. And I don't have one now because I don't have room for one. Money would take care of that. I don't have a facility big enough outside for one. Money would take care of that. Their diet, their really expensive diet, money would take care of that. So, yeah, Aldabra tortoise. That would be like, that'd be awesome. Awesome to have that kind of space and facility capable of housing one or two. Yeah, really fun questions. I like these things. I like thinking about these things because, on the one hand, you have unlimited money, and I'd get an Aldabra tortoise. On the other hand, if you're limited on money but you're allowed to get anything you'd want, I would get another Egyptian tortoise. Great question. So if you guys want your question answered here on the channel, you can do so in one of three ways. Number one, you can do so right here in the comment section of this video and ask your question there. Or you can go to the Third Coast Reptile community chat on YouTube and ask your question there. Or simply go to the Third Coast Facebook page and ask your question there. Let's get back to the video. Alright guys, so now that we're done talking about our video today, I want to take an opportunity to talk to you guys about an opportunity where you can be part of the channel. That's right, you guys can be part of Third Coast Reptile, and how you can do that is sponsoring one of these cages right here. All you have to do is submit $20 to the channel, and that's one-time payment for the entire month. What you'll get your name on this here plaque. You're sponsoring that reptile that's in that enclosure that you choose. So you'll send me an email. You'll say, hey, Third Coast Reptile, I would like to sponsor the Egyptian enclosure, like this one. And I'll say, okay, we'll exchange information, and then we'll do that one-time payment of $20, and then you'll get your name on this plaque. It'll be on the enclosure, visible to everybody on our videos for the entire month. Now, that $20 just doesn't go to space. That $20 goes directly towards the enclosure and that needs of the enclosure. Maybe it's due for a water dish upgrade. Maybe you're just feeding that tortoise for that month. Who knows? But I will be sure to let you know where that money goes, also by giving you a shout out in any videos we do during that month. So, a one-time payment, 20 bucks, and at the end of the month, this plaque gets mailed to you along with a fancy thank you. So, if you want to do that, you can email me at thirdcoastreptile@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to help you out from there. So let's go ahead and wrap this video up. I have some things in the works, like I said. Heading to Tinley coming up here in October. I will be also doing an interview here. Again, I'm going to be pulling in these people, these expert people, to help me with animals that I don't have here at my facility. I'm going to be looking for people to have monitor lizards. We're talking crocodiles. We're talking all sorts of wild stuff here. Sky's the limit. I might be talking to folks at zoos. I might be talking to people that have their own facilities. But the whole idea is I want to expand our channel just beyond that are just tortoises right now to the whole entire reptile realm. The first big one on my list is snakes. And I'm going to have that interview pretty soon here with Sweet Exotics. And they are my snake experts and they're local. They're right down the road from me. Who knew, right? Small world. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and thanks for hanging out with me here on Third Coast Reptile. Bye now.